Hello and welcome to Twin Watch 777. Today we're going to be talking about Anthony Ray Hinton. And for those who are not familiar with who he is, I am going to go over here and give you a brief introduction into who he is. So this picture is him right here, and this was taken in 2019. He was born June 1st, 1956, age 69, Alabama, U.S. Occupation, he is an author, activist, and he's known for being wrongfully convicted of murder, criminal justice reform, and a death penalty activism. And he's an author, and he wrote the book, The Sun Does Shine, How I Found Life and Freedom on Death Row. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to also read you a little bit of the background. So on February the 5th, 1985, and on July 2nd, 1985, two fast food managers, John Davidson and Thomas Wayne Vason, were killed in separate incidents during armed robberies at their fast food restaurants in Birmingham. A survivor of a third restaurant robbery, Sidney Smotherman, picked a photo of Anthony Ray Hinton, then age 29, from a lineup, and the police investigated him. At the time, Hinton worked at a supermarket warehouse and lived with his mother, Flawed Hinton, at her home in rural Alabama, about half an hour north of Birmingham. So he was arrested shortly after. Detective Doug Acker told Hinton, "I don't care whether you did it or not." Wait, let me go back. "I don't care whether you did or didn't do it. In fact, I believe you did do it. But it doesn't matter. If you didn't do it, one of your brothers did." That must have been a white cop. "And you're going to take the rap." So it just seems right here they already had him tried and convicted, even before he even stepped into a court of law. What happened to innocent but until proven guilty? Wow. Okay, so Detective Acker went on to say, "I can give you 5 reasons why they are going to convict you. Number 1, you're black. Number 2, a white man going to say you shot him. Number 3, you're going to have a white district DA. And number 4, you're going to have a white judge. And number 5, you're going to have an all-white jury." Yep, that sounds just about right back in those times. So now I'm going to go over here and we're going to watch a video of him. So let's go ahead. Get into the video.
Anthony Ray Hinton spent 30 years in prison for his wrongful conviction.
One of the most incredible stories I've ever heard.
A case that's garnered national attention.
One of the worst nightmares out there.
He said, "I don't care whether you did it or didn't do it, but I'm going to make sure you found guilty of it." I just somehow...
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Ray Hinton spent 30 years in prison for his wrongful conviction.
One of the most incredible stories I've ever heard.
A case that's garnered national attention.
One of the worst nightmares out there.
He said, "I don't care whether you did it or didn't do it, but I'm going to make sure you found guilty of it." I just somehow wanted to protect my mom. I didn't quite know whether she understood.
He wasn't convicted because he committed a crime. He was convicted because he was poor.
I had never been so convinced of someone's innocence than I had in Mr. Hinton's case.
Very scary to think that a man could be killed if he's actually innocent.
Anthony suffered in isolation and darkness.
I'm so sorry.
How long would it be before they come and get me?
The last time she saw you, he said, "Son, when are you coming home?"
Yes.
"When are you coming home?"
He said, "Whether you shot him or not, I don't care. You have been found guilty, I sentence you to death."
The entire country was watching.
30 years of pure hell.
An incredible story of faith and resilience. I don't know if I could have done it.
It can't get no lower for me. I've seen hate at its worst.
He was ordered to spend the remainder of his life in prison.
Right next to a convicted KKK member.
Oh my God.
There stood 2 white gentlemen that I never seen before. I said, "Can I help you?" He said, we have a warrant for your arrest. We want you to put your hands behind your back. I showed my mother the handcuff, and like any good mother, she began to scream and holler, "What are those handcuffs doing on my baby?" This seemed to set the detective off. He turned around, he looked at me, and he said, "We have decided that we're going to charge you with 2 counts of first-degree capital murder." I said, "But I haven't done any of that. You got the wrong person." He said, "Let me tell you something right now. I don't care whether you did it or didn't do it." He said, "But I'm going to make sure you found guilty of it."
My Lord, do you see this? Oh God, this makes me want to cry. So. My heart is bleeding for this man. But do you see how the system was set up against Black people from the start, even all the way back then? It's like we did not even have a chance, especially if you're poor and you couldn't afford the resources to defend yourself. He spent 30 years in jail, solitary confinement, already convicted before he even stepped foot in the courtroom. So it would, man.
There's 5 things that are going to convict you. He said, number 1, you Black. Number 2, a white man is going to say you shot him. Whether you shot him or not, I don't care. He said, number 3, you're going to have a white prosecutor. Number 4, you're going to have a white judge. And number 5, you're going to have an all-white jury. He said, do you know what that spelled? And he looked at me and he said, conviction, 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 conviction. He said, I really believe you didn't do it. He said, but since y'all is always taking up for one another, he said, take this for your homeboy. I goes before a judge. The judge proudly stand up and say, Anthony Ray Hinton, you have been found guilty, and it is the order of this court that I sentence you to death. I really lost sight for a few seconds. I was just totally in shock. I just somehow wanted to protect my mom. I didn't quite know whether she understood. I didn't want the world to believe that my mom had raised a son that was capable of taking another human being's life. And so I asked God to let the truth come out.
The last time she saw you and every time she heard your voice, she said, son, when are you coming home?
Yes.
When are you coming home?
She would ask me that, and I lied to her every time she asked me. Mm-hmm. Mama, they working on it. They just gonna take some time. And I was transported to death row. I did not say a word to another human being for 3 years. Going into the 4th year, I woke up approximately at 1 a.m. to the sound of a grown man crying. A man that I had lived by should never asked him his name or where he was from. But at an early age, my mother taught me compassion. My mother taught me no matter what one does in life, he or she still deserves compassion. And it was that compassion that I hollered through this brick wall. And I said, sir, do you need me to call and get the officer back here? He said, no.
My name's Ray, I said. There was silence. There was something in this guy's voice. He sounded alone. I'm from Praco, I said. I'm proud to be the son of Bueller Hinton, the best mother God ever sent down to this earth, who can make a pie like an angel and swat you like the devil if you try to eat it before she says so. Mm-hmm. I heard a few guys laugh, but I didn't know if the guy whose name I was waiting on was one of them. My mom makes a pretty good pie herself, he finally said. My name is Henry.
Henry was a Ku Klux Klansman's son. His daddy was a grand wizard in the Klan's organization. Henry's father was upset that a black man had got found not guilty in a murder trial, and he ordered them to go out and kill the first black man that they came across. As I got to know Henry and realized Henry had been taught to hate all his life.
I had no anger toward Henry. He had been taught to fear blacks. He had been trained to hate.
Henry and I became friends, and
before Henry was moved to the death room to wait for his execution, we talked one last time. I'm sorry, Ray. I'm sorry for what I done. I know you are. God knows you are. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I have a brother named Ray. He's my brother too. I could hear that Henry was crying, and my heart broke for him. Henry was my friend. It wasn't complicated. I would show him compassion because that's how I was raised. Compassion doesn't know what color you are, and I think Henry felt more love from the black men on death row than he ever did at a KKK meeting or from his own father and mother.
And I was told that Henry said, all of my life, my father, my mother, my community taught me to hate. The very people that they taught me to hate are the very people that taught me how to love. And tonight, as I leave this world, I leave this world knowing what love feels like. And I often say that if we can teach people to hate, we should be able to teach them to love. I really believe Henry left this world a better man than he came in it. In 30 years, I witnessed 54 men walk by my cell only to be executed. And I kept saying, how long can I survive this madness? How long will it be before they come and get me? The night I found out that my mom had died, I really didn't give a damn whether I lived. And that night, as I tried to sleep, it was as though my mom came in the cell and stayed in my ear all night long. And I could hear her saying, I did not bring you up to be a quitter. And early that morning, I called Mr. Stevenson and I said, Mr. Stevenson, I want you to give the state of Alabama all the hell you can give them.
Stevenson and the Equal Justice Initiative spent 16 years working on Mr. Hinton's case.
Mr. Hinton should have never been convicted. He wasn't convicted because he committed a crime. He was convicted because he was poor and didn't have the resources to prove his innocence.
The United States Supreme Court that finally intervened.
The result was a new trial the Ray Hinton had been waiting for. The state of Alabama dropped the case after a new look at the evidence could not match the bullets to the gun, and Hinton was released.
Thank you, Jesus! Thank you, Lord!
It took Mr. Stevenson 16 long years to finally win my freedom. Would you believe this is the first time I've been in the rain in 30 years? It was wonderful. I mean, I could just stayed in the rain that whole day if I could have. And everybody kept saying, get out of the rain, you get sick. I said, I haven't had rain on my body for 30 years. My mom, I still love her. And although she's not here, she will always be in here. There's not a day that go by, not a night that I don't take her photo and kiss and say goodnight, Mom. My mother had worked all her life to have a home built. And when I came home, I wanted to fix this old house up. And it has a connection with me and her. And I did it in her memory. Just because someone do you wrong, it don't make it right that you go do them wrong. I can dwell on the negative and never grow. So I choose to embrace the good.
I don't sense any bitterness. Why is that?
Bitterness kills the soul. I cannot hate. I've seen hate at its worst. What would it profit me to hate? Death Row taught me that either you love or you hate. Death Row taught me you either help or you harm. Death Row taught me no matter where we are, we still can love and we still can help one another. If we can teach people to hate, we should be able to teach them to love.
Wow. Wow. I am definitely at a loss for words with this story. Wow. 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 So, Mr. Hinton went on to file a $1.5 million lawsuit, and they haven't paid him yet. He filed it against the state of Alabama, and to this day, what I read here, even though they made a law and they passed a law, they still have not paid him a single penny of it. So Anthony Ray Hinton was not received. I'm sorry, I said a lawsuit is compensation from Alabama for his wrongful imprisonment, despite legislative approval of his claim. Ray Hinton, who spent 28 years on Alabama's death row. I'm seeing 28 years here, and then in the video I said 30 years. So between 28 and 30 years for crimes he did not commit. He filed a claim seeking nearly $1.5 million in compensation for his wrongful incarceration, which I don't think that is enough money. He spent 28 to 30 years incarcerated for a crime he did not commit. No, $1.5 million is not enough. His conviction was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2014 due to ineffective counsel, and all charges were subsequently dropped. Hinton's application for compensation was unanimously approved by the State Committee on Compensation for Wrongful Incarceration, and State Senator Paul Busman introduced a bill to appropriate the funds. Despite this approval, the Alabama legislature never debated or passed the bill, leaving Hinton without any financial redress. State officials, including the financial department and Anthony's general office, and attorney general's office, argued that Hinton was not technically proven innocent, but rather released due to ineffective legal representation, claiming he was therefore ineligible for compensation. Legislative delays and political distractions, including controversies surrounding the governor at the time, contributed to the bill stalling. Hinton has publicly criticized the state for its inaction, describing the situation as a continuation of injustice after his release. He remains without compensation for the decades he spent on death row, despite being one of the longest-serving exonerated death row inmates in Alabama history. In summary, although Hinton's claim was approved and a bill was introduced to provide a $1.5 million in compensation, he has yet to receive any settlement due to legislative inaction and disputes over the interpretation of his exoneration. Now we are living in 2026. They should have made some kind of adjustments, and that bill should have been passed by the state of Alabama. But one thing I will take away from the story is very heartfelt. And a couple things stood out to me. But one thing was that Ku Klux Klan guy, Henry, he was taught to hate his whole life. So he didn't know anything else but hate. When you teach a child, especially at a young age, those kinds of emotions is poison, and it will poison them from the inside out. And so when you see children or you hear of children like Henry, little white boys and girls in school acting out in a racist manner, think about what they've been taught at home. So I'm not saying it's not their fault, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't give them any kind of leniency, but we should have an understanding of what kind of home they was raised in, and under the conditions that they were raised up. Now, I'm not saying that we should accept their behavior and just ignore it like, oh, they're just children. No, because those are some hateful things that kids be saying to one another. But we should, especially the black kids, I'm just saying that we should equip our black kids how to deal with that type of hate without backing down. Because even you got that hate coming at you, you still gotta stand 10 toes down in the front and in the face of that. So I'm not. I know I'm not saying the words I want to say, and I'm trying to bridle my words without Willie just coming out and saying, I'm learning how to talk. Mindful of what come out of my mouth, because half the time things just come out and I don't even be thinking about what I'm saying. If you get hurt by it, so what? Who cares? Yeah, but back to Henry. I pray that he do get some kind of compensation for his wrongful imprisonment. Definitely more than $1.5 million. Now, we have a GoFundMe, and it would be nice. He probably won't, because I don't think it's his character to do so. But I believe if someone would lead him to set it up, or someone set it up for him, I believe he will supersede what he's asking for in this settlement, because those pennies, he spent 28 to 30 years incarcerated for something he did not even do. So before I go in this video, there's one more thing that I want to show you, where Anthony Ray Hinton, he shares his remarkable life story. And this was on February the 5th of 2026 in Belmont Hill. They proudly welcomed Anthony Ray Hinton to campus for a deeply moving and inspirational school meeting. Mr. Hinton shared his story of surviving for 30 years on Alabama's death row following a wrongful conviction, and a decades-long journey of his exoneration and freedom. Now, since his freedom in 2015, Mr. Hinton has traveled the world sharing his story and discussing the changes that need to be made to prevent similar injustices from happening to others. In 2018, Mr. Hinton published The Sun Does Shine: How I Found Life and Freedom on Death Row, which was selected for Oprah's Book Club and is a New York Times bestseller. In the lead up to Mr. Hinton's visit, English classes of all grade levels read excerpts of the memoir Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, the lawyer who helped win back Mr. Hinton's freedom. Thanks to the students' enthusiasm for the material, many classes went on to read the entire book. So following the presentation, Mr. Hinton, he stayed behind it, and he answered more intimate conversation with the students. And then here below, we have some pictures that, a photograph that was taken of the occasion. And there we have it right there. All right, so that covers what I want to present to you in this video. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified each and every time I drop a new video. Okay, I will see you in my next video. Y'all be blessed.